Hello everyone, Yoshi here. We're gonna have a wake and bake video. Been a while since I've been able to do one with the commotion and stuff that's going on at my place at the moment. It's not really possible to do these daily. There's I got some more roommates, so it's usually it's like most of the time there's some commotion going on, somebody's doing something, and I just can't really do wake and bake videos or make commentary on the games I'm playing at the moment, but hopefully that will change sometime soon. I would like to be able to go back to making commentary on my games and some making, you know, like daily wake and bake videos. I enjoyed those. Some good news though. I did get a job. I'm dishwashing for $13 an hour, which isn't bad. I thought it's going to be getting like $8 or like $10 an hour. So $13 an hour is pretty great. I'm only doing part-times, working on the weekend, which is usually the busiest times, but it's rough, but not too bad. I'm able to handle it now. Like when I first started, the first weekend I started, they had me on a Friday, and I closed myself, which was annoying because, you know, when you're training somebody, you don't have them close, but I guess when it comes to dishwashers, they don't really care to train or take into account that, you know, somebody may not have any kind of experience. So after that day, for like the next couple of days, I couldn't really walk because my legs hurt so much and my back hurt. It was wild. Then the next weekend was a bit better. Worked a couple days. Body was able to get used to working, and now I'm working 3 nights a week. At least 1 day of early in, early out, and 2 nights of closing, which isn't bad. I mean, I can handle that now. And it's nice to have a little bit more income coming in. I can now afford some things. I can attempt to help improve my my YouTube channel. I did splurge for a new logo and banner, which I am enjoying. You can find that on Twitter. I believe I did post my banner to YouTube, and if I haven't, I need to. I must have forgotten if I haven't yet. Let's talk about what's been going on in the past few weeks. Like the attempted Trump coup. That was wild. And now there's National Guards stationed at Washington, and there's rumors of another attack going on. Crazy. And it's wild how Trump supporters turned from backing the blue to murdering the blue, and like they're basically a-okay with it, while at the same time, well, not the same time anymore, over the summer last year they were screaming about how pretty much defunding cops was like tantamount to murder. And then they go and kill some cops and trying to attempt a coup on the United States. I'm glad it didn't work, but it did show that if the left decided to band together and march on to the Capitol, they really wouldn't be able to do much. But come to find out that there were people that, ripped out panic buttons of the senators and stuff. So some of this was planned, and some of it was planned. They'd also had federal Capitol cops and various military and ex-military people that joined in on the protest. So that just proves that there's a bit of fascist people in the cop force and the military, and that needs to be rooted out as much as possible, in my opinion. We need an entire top-down, bottom-up change and rooting of fascism and racism in the United States. Otherwise, nothing's really going to change. We'll have a new leader, but it's going to be a leader that's going to end up supporting fascist and racist policies. And I, for one, am tired of having white, rich, racist people being our leaders. For majority of the United States history, our leaders have been rich, white, racist people. And it's time for something different. Though personally, I would rather not have one human leader with all this power, because with Trump in office, he proved, in my opinion, that the United States president has too much power for the good of the American people. Like the fact that you can't indict a sitting president, the EOs that he was able to sign. I mean, with the not being able to indict a sitting president, it just basically means a president can commit whatever crime they want and pretty much get away with it. Because typically the next admin will pardon the ex-administration, which is a problem in itself. The ability for a president to pardon anybody they want, that, in my opinion, is a problem. Because these people could be guilty of something. I mean, it could be used for good, but I mean, how often are we gonna have a president that's gonna be using this for good? I mean, all these people who are in jail for bullshit reasons, they could be pardoned. Or maybe it just works on federal crimes. I need to look more into it, because I've kind of forgotten the entire scope and ability of pardons. But all I know is Trump pardoned a bunch of his criminal buddies, and now Michael Flynn is calling for a military coup, as well as my pillow guy, though he was not, someone charged with anything. The fact that he's calling for a military coup is pretty scary, because our government, they're looking for to have Trump as basically king, and then have his family inherit the throne. There's a number of Trump supporters who are a-okay with Trump being king, and it is something wild, because our nation is supposed to be one that is against the idea of royalty and that kind of stuff. And then you have these right-wingers screaming for Trump to be a dictator. And it's not like Trump had thought about that since becoming president, because he constantly favored and praised dictators, especially ones that became president for life, like the Chinese leader who became president for life, and he even said that the United States should do something like that. In my opinion, though, the United States is being set up for a dictatorship. We got so many laws that the president can invoke that basically gives them control over basically everything in the United States. And it's pretty wild. I mean, it's not like we don't live in a police state already. I mean, the cops can basically do whatever they want and nothing happens to them. You know, walk into a black person's home, shoot them dead, and then it's just considered them doing their job. And it's just it never seems to change. What else? There was something that I was going to talk about, now I forgot. What was it? Okay, I talked a bit about the Trump coup. Let's talk a little bit about Biden. And the $2,000 check promise that was made. Now they're trying to go back. Biden and some of his people are trying to go back and say that they're going to give us $1,400 checks, and it's going to be a total of $2,000 with the $600 from the previous $600 check given under the Trump administration, which is not the same. When you promise $2,000 or a certain amount of money, you can't then go back and say, oh, this other person gave you some money, so it counts towards what we're going to give you. Biden said that if Georgians voted blue and got Ossoff and Warnock into their seats, they would send out a $2,000 check. So if it's not $2,000, then Biden is already showing, well, Biden and Democrats who have gained all three branches of power in the United States, if they can't get a $2,000 stimulus check passed, they're just showing that they're just shit. But it's not atypical of Democrats to promise something, gain their position, and then go back on it and, shit on the poor people, because corporate Dems love to do that because they're beholden to their corporate interest and not the little people. They just sometimes want the support of the little people because it just makes everything easier to flow, as you don't get pushback from them. It allows them to basically do whatever they want, and then people say jack shit about it. Biden, I mean, it sounds like there are some good things Biden wants to do. I mean, he's going to stop the Keystone Pipeline, which is great. Reverse the Muslim ban, which is good as well. I've always been one for the free travel of anyone to any nations or any location. The idea of borders, in my opinion, makes no sense whatsoever. People should be able to freely travel between, Mexico and Canada and United States, or, anywhere in Europe. Pretty much anywhere. People should have that travel to. I mean, if they're going to end up committing a crime in that nation, they're going to be punished by those laws. So, I mean, In my opinion, passports just prevents poor people from being able to travel to other nations. It's international travel is a luxury of the wealthy. But um, he did put Sanders as the Senate Budget Council leader, which it seems like a pretty good choice. With the way Sanders is, he is striving to get at least some type of emergency universal health care during the pandemic so that everybody can get covered. He's definitely going to be pushing on better wages and stimulus checks for us, which is great. And if the Democrats aren't the shit people that they tend to turn into or are when they're in power, the United States may be seeing some good things happening. Though the pandemic is still going to be happening for a while in the United States because the United States totally fucked up because of Trump. We don't even have reserve vaccines like they said that we would have. So now it's like, what are the rest of the people supposed to do that were promised that they were going to get vaccinated? And what about the people that are supposed to be vaccinated after all these essential workers and stuff? And, are we just shit out of luck? Or we're just gonna have to, try to gain herd immunity by sacrificing our most vulnerable people? Or just whoever that ends up catching it and dying? Because it's not even the most vulnerable people that die from it. And, you could be a healthy 32-year-old and still die from COVID because this thing, we just still don't know that enough about how it affects people to really know who's at the highest risk of it. And so, while other nations gave their citizens monthly stimulus checks and subsidized their unemployment like 75 to 90%, and they were able to lock down comfortably and be okay. And now there are several nations where people are out and are able to be out in public and not have to worry about COVID. Well, here we're still having record infections and deaths because of COVID. And now we got these variant strains going around, the UK version, the African version, and the Brazil version. So that also makes me wonder, how effective will these vaccines be in the future as this virus keeps mutating more and more. So far, it hasn't mutated to become more deadly. It's mutated and became more transmissible, but being more transmissible means a lot more people are going to die from it. So it's like, what is 2021 going to bring for the United States? I'm pretty concerned. I am pretty concerned about what's going to happen. I'm curious. I'm hoping things will get taken care of under the Biden administration, but who knows? Biden is a corporate dem. He doesn't have that good of a track record with bills and stuff, or like an international track record. So I don't have the extremest of high hopes that Biden is actually going to stop fascism, because unless we get a bit more extreme on fighting fascism. I mean, the beliefs that persist because of Trump is not going to end anytime soon. I don't know. I just hope that there will eventually be some kind of change in the future where our system isn't, a pretty fascist system. Because no matter what government or what party is in government, the United States, at its core, is pretty fascist. It's a police state. It's all about oppressing groups of people at the benefit of a small group that holds all the power. And it eventually the United States will have to fall. Maybe in my lifetime, maybe in 100 years, 200 years, who knows, but eventually it will have to.